What is going on with QVC? It looks like the end is near for the Curate Retail Group, aka QVC, the absolutely legendary retail titan behind the home shopping network, Garnett Hell, and Zulily. My wife likes Zulily. They have officially filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
This has become my chatting account. Did you guys see that QVC filed bankruptcy? I just got an email from LTK because they work over on that platform too. It says that QVC and its affiliate brands were writing to let you know that QVC Group, which includes QVC, HSN, Ballard, Frontgate, Grandin, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on April 16th. They've publicly already stated all of this, and the brand continues to operate as usual. It expects to complete the restructuring process within approximately 90 days. At this time, they remain linkable on LTK, but we want to ensure that you have this information so you can make your own informed decision about your links and content. Regarding commission already earned, QVC has publicly stated that it intends to pay its business partners in full during the restructuring process. We are monitoring this closely and notify you promptly if we learn any changes. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Yup, show is. I'm just so sick because remember back in the 2000s, right? In some of the 10s, celebrities who were about to take a break or on the rise would have a QVC line. Nene Leakes, Joan Rivers, Mariah Carey. She was pregnant and was pushing a whole line of like butterfly jewelry and blouses and things of that nature. I'm just like, God damn. I ain't got no opportunity to sell headbands on QVC. I ain't got the opportunity to sell Aztec shirts on QVC. Oh.
My name is Julian Scott, supply chain strategist, and this is Supply Demand. And typically we layer in supply chain strategy with industry knowledge to get rid of the ambiguity surrounding different aspects of finance and culture. But this is the back room. You know what I'm saying? This is where we can have some conversations that we don't always have on the sales floor. You know what I'm talking about? So it's going to be a little more relaxed. The topics are a bit more varied, but you get my true and authentic thoughts and insights. Let's get into this QVC situation. So we seen the headlines, right? They calling out retail decline. But if you ask me and you look at that balance sheet, it tells a completely different story. One that looks more like a systemic collapse. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when you have a $6.6 billion debt mountain. You know what I'm talking about? When you got that They had too much. They did too much leverage, okay? And it hits a terminal bottleneck. You know, it's no secret. For like the past 40 years, you know, QVC has been dominating the living room. But, you know, we have to be real. Mistakes were made. They thought that their product was inventory. You know, they thought we was coming to them specifically because of the stuff that they was getting off for 5 easy payments of $9.95. But that's really not the case, because clearly we see the dire straits that they're in, despite all of the celebrity deals and all of the contracts. They didn't realize what investors realized a long time ago. The real product at QVC is not the inventory. The real product, the real thing that was driving revenue was those cable subscriptions. That's right. They had it on lock. They were the place to go to on regular and in premium cable television. And we are watching that dismantle in real time with the different advents of ways to shop online and via social media. People don't need some of these traditional pathways to purchase things anymore. I think we all understand the why, you know, of the home shopping, you know, network, right? They began to fade, honestly. And I'm going to tell you the real problem. And it's not even so much people just stepping away from cable, but it's the why. why people step away from cable and they are looking for sources like this, like YouTube and like different places to get their entertainment. It's the authenticity trap.
Do you think that loved ones deserved unique gifts? Then you've got to check out Shutterfly.com or their app.
You guys loved when I did the review of the Biscoff cake at H-E-B. So here we are for round 2. I did pick up a second cake from H-E-B. So in the area that I found the Biscoff cake, there were like 3 other flavors. So while I was at H-E-B today, I picked up the second flavor. So it is chocolate strawberry half cold pie with whipped cream and chocolate cake crumbles. And I love chocolate. Open her up. Try this. Looks so good. This is what she's looking like.
You see, in the past, high production equaled high trust. You know, you didn't need a multi-million-dollar studio and a celebrity host to prove that you had a legitimate business. But today, that's not so much. Okay, people don't really like seeing like super duper over the top high production values unless it's in a Marvel movie or something like that, you know, because today that can be seen as a red flag. I mean, simply put, the millennials, some of us kind of like it, but even some of us are apprehensive. But Gen Z and Gen Alpha, definitely a no. When things are too clean for them, they like, oh no, that junk phony. It's phony, right? It's too good to be true. And to them, that doesn't equal like buy now. Like, oh snap, can you believe that price? We gonna buy that today. No. When they see too good to be true, that's a scam. And we're not into it. It really equals scam to them. They don't think about it the same way that past generations did, thinking they catching a deal or catching a sale. And if you ask me personally, the attempts to, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, they were a little too late from QVC. They tried to bring broadcast logic to the streamer economy. They were on TikTok Shop. They tried to leverage supply chain channels through Instagram shopping and different things to try to capture that new wave of excitement of how people are shopping online. But people don't buy products because of the way it's lit and how it's just simply presented. Like, yes, you're going to always have a group of individuals who like presentation value. Come on, of course. But price alone and presentation alone does not sell products today. People today, they buy, especially the younger consumer, they buy because they think they getting put on to something. They think that, you know, you showing them something new. They've developed some type of trust, especially in the creator economy. These people feel like they know iShowSpeed. They feel like they know Kai Cenat. And so when these people post their products, when Mr. Beast puts something in retail shelves, it sells just from him saying something about it. You know what I mean? When Alex Hormozy does a partnership with some of these online businesses and brands, they go up. Right. So it's not just about, you know, the product in itself and the way it's presented to the buyer, but it comes down to the quality and the usefulness. Do I feel like I connect to this, the brand story, and that I actually need this in my life? Yo, have you heard? The IRS has launched a new AI. They coming for you. That's right. They know you've been playing on them tax returns. But look, while they over there busy training their AI how to hunt through your social media feed, we training our people how to hunt for leverage. The goal isn't to hide from the algorithm. Honestly, I think that's a losing proposition right there. Look, the goal should be to build documented, bulletproof wealth systems that withstand the scrutiny of any of these tools and all of this type of stuff they putting out there. I'm talking about the Skeleton Crew, Supply Demand's private membership platform. You got to come check it out. Look, I am wanting to build a community of people who want to dive deeper, take action, and truly experience a transformation. We don't care about tax hacks or, yo, what's the secret sauce and all of that. I don't care about none of that. You shouldn't either. We want to care about systems. I want you to be able to optimize, right, through systematic approaches and real financial education. Look, check out the discussion boards. We got private applications to help you manage your personal finances that we've built from the ground up. And I have supply drops. These are our deep dives, research from industry knowledge presented by yours truly, as well as with other industry leaders to help you close those gaps, those things that's really holding you back from seeing success. Look, head over to supply-demand.live, okay? Or hit the link in the description. Make it easy on yourself. The Skeleton Crew, Supply Demand. Now, back to the video. The good news here is all is not lost. You know, there is some opportunity for QVC for those who are still fans of the brand. There is a silver lining here, if you will. Okay. QVC, they're going to continue to operate. You know, there are 6 main types of bankruptcy out there. Most know Chapter 11 and Chapter 7. They, you know, are familiar with these terms, are much more common. Chapter 7, as you may have heard, it's a bit of like a scorched earth. It's a fire sale. It's like, we going out of business, sell everything, get the money to the creditors. Chapter 11, which is what QVC filed, is a bit different. You know what I'm saying? Chapter 11 is where you get to do what's called a debt restructure. So this is actually a collaborative process in the beginning. This is where QVC will have a chance to work with its creditors, come up with some new terms around the debt, right? So this means payback periods could change, interest rate expectations could change, and all of this is to give the company more leverage and leeway. Okay, it's to give them more opportunity to see success, but they have to take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? They can't just see this as you know, added on period of time in which they don't take action, because it's going to lead to failure. If anyone's checking on what's happening in the airline industry with like Spirit Airlines, they went through this same process and it's not going so well. They are literally weeks away from completely running out of money, even under the new terms of the debt. They have not been able to figure out a strategy to take in more revenue that outpaces the outflows necessary to maintain their debt profile. Hopefully, we do not see this same situation with QVC. You know, seeing that QVC quite literally, you know, they propped up an entire ecosystem. Let's be real. That as seen on TV aisle in your favorite, you know, your Walmarts and your Targets or wherever, them end caps, like that was them. They had that on lock. And so there are a lot of companies dependent on this working out. You know, there's today, I'm sure they're looking for alternatives and avenues into the future, but we got to make it through the next quarter or two, right? And so what I expect to see is some massive liquidation events. I think we're going to be able to see some of those kind of products go on sale and be ready for people to buy. And people should be ready. Take opportunity. If there were some things you were looking at in that space, could be a buying opportunity for you to take some things and grab them for sale. You know, the group, you know, QVC will also be able to use this time to see, again, like I mentioned with Spirit, how can they change their strategy, right? Currently, the outlook isn't so good, and the company is being very transparent about things. In their last 10K filing, which is a knowledge form that you do with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So any publicly traded company, they have to file these knowledge forms. And it's basically just to say when they put out their quarterly earnings, this is additional information about what is going on. You'll see balance sheet, P&Ls and things like that. But they also have sections that sometimes you got to actually be on the calls to catch, which is, I'm really glad that how they structured their 10K. It has a whole section for risk in there. And so in the risk section of their 10K, they you know, talked about specifically calling out some of the long-term issues and uncertainty, quite frankly, around performance under their current model, even with the debt restructure. Here's a quote right here. Our long-term success depends in part on our continued ability to attract new customers and retain existing customers, as we may not be able to do so in a cost-effective manner. Okay. they don't think it's going to go, super well after this. They don't think they're going to see some massive transformation in consumer buying patterns, essentially, is how I read this. So transparency appreciated, but if you hold in some QVC stock or something, I would let that go. So, what should we kind of take from all of this? First and foremost, entrepreneurs. Okay, I want to make sure you understand. There is something called consumer sentiment, right? And we have to make sure we are paying attention. The way people shop in one particular season is not going to be how they shop in the next one. The things that they like today and the trends that are popping today are not going to be the ones that are popping later on, right? And so you have to understand the sentiment of consumers and that it will always be shifting, okay? And so sometimes they're going to be looking to save money on some of these things that they typically want. And sometimes people are going to be in a season of risk and season of spend, and they're going to want certain type of products. So for you, it's very important to make sure that you find a balance in how you have developed that relationship with those consumers. Maybe this is an opportunity to say, hey, let's put less into the production of the marketing and that campaign from just a pure visual perspective, and take those same marketing dollars and do more things like pop-ups, do more things like, stuff where people can actually feel like they have a personal experience or personal touch, so we can get some value validation of what you're trying to get to people. And after that, we can convert that into value harvesting by selling them access to an ecosystem instead of just one-off products. People today want to feel like they are a part of something larger than themselves. iPhones are a perfect example of this. You don't just get the iPhone. You get the iPhone, you get the AirPods, you get the AirPods Max, then you get the MacBook, you get the MacBook Pro, you might even got a Mac Mini somewhere. Like, you don't just get one product. And so to my entrepreneurs, think about, large or small, think about ancillary products that we can get to people, and then think about how we market those in a much more grassroots, tangible fashion where people can feel that they're actually connected to the brand or the brand story. Instead of putting so much production value in showing the thing in the box, maybe spend that money on shooting some content that feels genuine, that really tells a story either about the inspiration of the product or how people are truly getting value from those who have used it in the past. So that's for the entrepreneurs out there. For the non-business people who are like, yo, I just liked QVC. Like, I'm not a business owner. I don't know anything about this. I think there's still things for us to glean from this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always key takeaways. So for my non-business owners out there, understand nothing in life is forever. Nothing in life lasts forever. And you should always be taking chances, doing these little personal experiments so that you can always be ready to make a pivot, say the time comes. This applies to relationships, career choices, friend groups, whatever the case may be. Always be ready to kind of go into that next season by preparing yourself, getting a little uncomfortable, being okay in the mire, being okay in the ambiguity as you search for the clarity. Shout out to supply demand. You know what I'm saying? And so, make sure you don't stay stagnant is essentially what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Because that is exactly what happened to QVC. They stayed stagnant for too long. They rested on their laurels, and they did not come up with a sufficient plan to service their debtors as the market was changing beneath them. So, food for thought. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it for today. I think we did it. I think we covered it. Remember, down below, link is in the description for the Skeleton Crew. Join the crew today. This is Supply Demand. Okay. My name is Julian Scott. Check us out. Get more details about the Skeleton Crew. If you got questions, supplydemand.live, or again, hit that link in the description and let me know. Let me know down in the comments, okay? What do you guys think about this QVC situation? Are you upset about it? Do you care? Do you like, I've moved on from that anyway. It doesn't even matter. And more importantly, right? The QVC chapter is possibly done, but there's other companies out there that are legacy companies that are still kind of making it happen. We've seen recently in the market a whole lot of software as a service companies took a massive hit in their price per share. A lot of them are starting to rebound, but some are not. So let me know in the comments as well. What other legacy companies do you think are on the clock right now? Who up next to get, that head chopped off? Who filing for bankruptcy? I want to know. Until next time, y'all. Catch you on the next one. This is Supply Demand. It's me, Julian Scott. Catch y'all later. Peace.